This is the OCR GCSE 9-1 Maths Foundation Paper 2 from the November 2022 series, and this paper is a non-calculator paper. Question number 1. The pictogram shows the number of students absent from a school in a particular week. We've got this key. A full circle represents 4 students. Part A, Harper says, the pictogram shows 2 circles for Monday, therefore 2 students were absent on Monday. Explain what Harper has done wrong. Write down the correct number of students who were absent on Monday. If we use our key, we have a full circle which represents 4 students. So, for Monday, we have 4 students plus another 4 students, which gives us 8 students. So Harper has not used the key. The correct number, we have 8 students who are absent on Monday. Part B, 5 students were absent on Friday. We have to complete the pictogram above to show this information. What you can see here for Friday, we have 4 plus 1, which gives 5 students who were absent on Friday. We have used this key to represent 5 students being absent on Friday. Question number 2, Part A. Complete each statement by writing the missing power in the box. 6 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 6 is equal to 6 raised to the power of 3. We are multiplying 6 by itself 3 times. For the next part, 16 equals 2 to the power of something. If I multiply 2 by itself 4 times, I get 16. So 2 raised to the power of 4 gives 16. For part B, we have to work out 5 squared multiplied by the square root of 36. If we work out what 5 squared is, that's 25. We then multiply this by the square root of 36, which is 6. 25 multiplied by the square root of 36, we get a value of 150. So we have 150. Question number 3. We have to work out, for part A, 0.35 plus 6.2. Well, if we use column addition, we have 6.2 being added to 0.35. And if we add these together, we have 5 in the hundredths column, 2 plus 3, which is 5. So we have 5 in the tenths column. And for the units column, 6 plus 0 is 6. So we end up with 6.55. For part B, we have to work out 4.8 divided by 8. The result of this is 0.6. We know 48 divided by 8 is 6, and because 4.8 is 10 times smaller than 48, we do 6 divided by 10, which is 0.6. Question number 4. Part A, we have to write 19 over 4 as a mixed number. How many times does 4 go into 19? Well, if we work out our 4 times tables, we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, and then after that, we've got 20. So 4 goes into 19 4 whole times, and what's left over is 3. So we have 4 and 3/4. For part B, we have to write 1 7/9 as an improper fraction. Well, here we've got 1 whole. Here we've got 7/9. So how many ninths do we have altogether? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus the 7 over here. We have altogether 16 ninths. Part C. Sam says that 7/8 written as a decimal is 0.78. Is Sam correct? Show how you decide. Well, 7/8 is the same as 7 times by 1/8. So we've got 7 multiplied by 0.125, and if we work out what this is equal to, we get 0.875. So is Sam correct? No, and that's because the 0.78, which is what he found, does not equal 0.875. Question number 5. We have to write 36 as a product of prime factors. Well, if we start off with the 36, we can split this 36 into 2 times by 18. 2 is a prime number, 18 isn't, so we can further split this 18 up as 2 times by 9. 2 is a prime number, 9 isn't, so we can further split this 9 up as 3 times by 3. So what we can conclude here then is 36 is equal to 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. In other words, we have 2 squared, that's 2 times 2, multiplied by 3 squared. We have written 36 as the product of its prime factors. Question number 6. The diagram shows 2 intersecting straight lines as we see here. Part A, we have to find the value of A, give a reason for your answer. Well, the first thing we note is vertically opposite angles are equal, which means that A is equal to the 140. So A is 140 degrees. For part B, we have to find the value of B, give a reason for your answer. The first thing we can note is we've got a straight line, so B plus 140 will equal 180. We have angles on a straight line which sum to 180, and therefore if we solve for B, B is equal to 40. Question number 7. We have to find the value of 4x plus 5y when x is 3 and y is minus 2. With x equaling 3 and y equaling minus 2, we can substitute these values into this expression. So we have 4 multiplied by x, which is 3, plus 5 multiplied by y, which is minus 2. And if we work out what this is equal to, 4 times 3 is 12. We then subtract from this 10. 12 subtract 10 is 2. So we have 4x plus 5y equaling 2. Question number 8. Part A, we have to write 65% as a fraction in its simplest form. Percent means out of 100. So we have 65 out of 100. And if we were to simplify this, we can divide the top and bottom by 5, leaving us with 13 over 20. So we have 13 over 20. Part B. 25 people entered a competition. 4 of them won a prize. We have to work out the percentage of people that won a prize. Well, out of 25, 4 have won a prize. We need to work out the percentage. Remember, percentage means out of 100. So what we are required to do is multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 4. 4 times by 4 is 16. We have 16%. Part C, we have to increase 250 by 20%. Well, 20% of 250, that's the same as a fifth of 250, which is 50. So we need to add on to the 250 is 50. So we've got 250 plus 50, which is 300. So if we increase 250 by 20%, we get 300. Question number 9. Part A. By writing each number correct to one significant figure, we have to find an estimate for 79.8 times 3.1. Well, with our calculation, 79.8 multiplied by 3.1, the 79.8 we can round to 80 to one significant figure. 3.1 to one significant figure is 3, which means 80 times by 3 is 240. Part B. Jamie works out 79.8 times 3.1 on a calculator. Jamie's answer is 2473.8. Do you think Jamie has used their calculator correctly? Explain why. Well, no, because the answer should be close to 240, and we found that out with our estimate. Question number 10. Ashley has £7 to spend on fruit. The table shows the prices. We've got pineapples, which are £1.15 each. Bananas for 1 kilogram are 17p each. Strawberries for a 200 gram pack is £1.30. Ashley buys 2 pineapples and 3 kilograms of bananas. Ashley spends the remaining money on strawberries. We have to work out the mass in grams of strawberries that Ashley buys. You must show you're working. If we let x equal the amount spent on strawberries, we have 2 pineapples. Those cost £1.15 each. Then we have 3 kilograms of bananas. So we add on 3 times by 0.70. This is the amount spent on bananas. plus x, which is the amount we spend on strawberries, the result of this is £7. So 2 times by 115, that's 230. 3 times by 0.70, that's 210. Let me add on to this x, we get £7 in total. £2.30 plus £2.10, that's £4.40. £4.40 plus x, the amount we spend on strawberries, is equal to 7. And if we solve for x to find out the amount we spend on strawberries, 7 take away £4.40 is £2.60. So for the mass of strawberries, we can work that out by doing £2.60 divided by £1.30. So this tells us how many packs we have. And then what we need to do is multiply this by 200. So if we work this out, we've got 2 times by 200, which is 400. So we have 400 grams. Question number 11, part A. We have to sketch the graph of y equals -2. Show clearly the value of any intercepts. Here is the graph of y equals -2. It intercepts the y-axis only at the point 0, -2. Part B. Sketch the graph of y equals x minus 3. Show clearly the value of any intercepts. Here is the graph of y equals x minus 3. It intercepts here and here. It intercepts the x-axis at 3 across 0 up, and it intercepts the y-axis 0 across 3 down. Part C. Sketch the graph of y equals x squared. Here is the graph of y equals x squared. It passes through the origin. It's got this cup shape. Question number 12. Multiply out for part A 3 multiplied by x plus 1. 3 multiplied by x is 3x. 3 times by 1 is 3. So we have 3x plus 3. For part B, we have to multiply out 3d multiplied by d minus 2. 3d times by d is 3d squared. 3d multiplied by minus 2, that's minus 60. Question number 13, we have to work out for part A 3/7 times by 2. Well, 3 times by 2 is 6, so we have 6/7. Part B, we have to work out 2/3 subtract 1/4. We can rewrite these fractions so they are over 12. 2/3 is the same as 8/12, and then we subtract from this 1/4, which is the same as 3/12. So if we work out the value of this, we have 8 subtract 3 on the numerator, which is 5, and on the denominator we have 12, so we end up with 5/12. Question number 14, we have to solve 6x subtract 9 equals 27 subtract 4x. Which is smaller, 6x or negative 4x? Well, it's negative 4x. So our first step is to add 4x to both sides. And if we do that, we have 10x subtract 9 equals 27. Our next step is to add 9 to both sides. That leaves us with 10x equals 36. Our next step is to divide both sides by 10, which leaves us with 1x equals 36 divided by 10, which is 3.6. So we have x is 3.6. Question number 15. Kai invests £600 at a simple interest rate of R% each year. After 5 years, Kai's investment is worth £690. We have to find the value of R. The interest over the 5 years is equal to 690 subtract 600, which is equal to 90. The interest in 1 year, we would have R% of 600. So we have R over 100 times by 600. 600 divided by 100 is R multiplied by 6. So we have 6R. This is the interest in 1 year. So we have 6R multiplied by 5 equals 90, which means that 30R equals 90. So R equals 3. So R is equal to 3. Question number 16. The diagram shows part of a regular 12-sided polygon. For this polygon, we have to find the ratio of one exterior angle to the size of one interior angle. Give your answer in its simplest form. You must show your working. The first thing we can do is find out the exterior angle. So when we refer to the exterior angle, if we extend one of these lines, like we see here, this angle here is the exterior angle. The exterior angle is equal to 360 divided by 6 because 12 because we have 12 sides, and if we work out this, we get 30. So the exterior angle is 30 degrees. So now that we know the exterior angle, we can now find out the interior angle. The angle shown here is the interior angle. The interior angle is equal to 180 subtract the exterior angle of 30, and if we work this out, we get 150. So this angle here is 150 degrees. What we need to do is find the ratio of the exterior to the interior. So the ratio of the exterior angle to the interior angle, we have the 30 degrees for the exterior angle, 150 for the interior angle, and simplifying this, we get 1 to 30, rather 1 to 5. So we have 1 to 5. Question number 17. The straight line L is shown below. Part A, we have to write down the ratio of V to H when the gradient of the line is 4. Well, what this is talking about is the gradient of the line. And the gradient of the line is the change in y of the change in x. If we have 4 over 1, 4 over 1 gives us the gradient of 4, which means the ratio V to H is 4 to 1. Part B, we have to find the gradient of the line L as a fraction in its simplest form when V to H is 14 to 16. Again, change in y over change in x. We have the gradient being V over H, and we know what V and H are. So we have 14 over 6. And in its simplest form, this is equal to 7 over 3. So we have 7 over 3. Question number 18. Find all the possible integer values that satisfy the inequality 4 is less than or equal to 2x, which is less than or equal to 10. So if we have 4 being less than or equal to 2x, which is less than 10, we can divide each side of the inequality by 2, leaving us with 2, which is less than or equal to x, which is less than 5. So the values we could have are from 2 to 4. So we could have 2, 3 and 4 for x, for our integer values. So we have 2, 3 and 4. Question number 19. Asmi has a fair spinner numbered 2, 5 and 8. Asmi spins the spinner twice and adds the two scores to get a total. Part A, complete the table to show all of the possible totals. 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 plus 5 is 7, 2 plus 8 is 10. 5 plus 2 is 7, 5 plus 5 is 10, 5 plus 8 is 13, 8 plus 2 is 10, then we have the 8 plus 5 which is 13 and the 8 plus 8 which is 16. For part B, we have to find the probability that the total is a square number. Well, how many options do we have in total? We have 9 options in total, and of these 9, how many are square numbers? Well, 4 is a square number, 16 is also a square number. We have 2 of those options which are square numbers. So we have 2 9ths. Question number 20. Layla and Jamal open a box of sweets. Layla and Jamal share all of the sweets in the ratio 2 to 3. Part A, we have to write down the fraction of the sweets Layla receives. Well, she would receive 2/5 of the sweets. For part B, Layla eats some of her sweets. She is then left with 18% of the sweets that were in the box. We have to work out the percentage of her sweets that Layla has eaten. Let's see how much she is left with. Well, she's left with 18% of sweets that were in her box. So we have 18 out of 100 out of 2/5. So if I work out what this is equal to, we have 18 over 100 multiplied by 5/2. So we have 18 times 5, which is 90, and then 100 times by 2 is 200. So we have 90 over 200, which is equal to 45 over 100. So therefore, the percentage that's eaten is 55%. 45% is left over, which means 55% is eaten. Question number 21. We have the graph over here which shows information about the population of a village. Part A, the population of the village in 2021 was 4,740, and we have to plot this point on the graph. So in 2021 we have 4.74 which we need to plot. So we have 4.7, then we have 4.72, 4.74. That would go here. So this point here is what we need to plot. For part B, we have to work out the increase in the population of the village between 2016 and 2018. So between 2016 and 2018, we have to consider this value and this value. So this value is 4,160. This value is 4,440. So we have 4,480 subtract 4,160 divided by 4,160. So if we work out what this is, well, for the numerator we've got 4480 take with 4160, which is 320. So we have 320 divided by 4160. Well, this is the percentage increase. So what we're after is this value here. So we have 320. For part C, Rowan says that there was a huge increase in the population of the village between 2015 and 2020. We have to describe how Rowan may have been misled by the graph. Well, the graph does not start at 0, it starts at 4.0 instead. For part D, Blake says that the population of the village will be greater than 4,800 in 2022. We have to write down an assumption that Blake has made. Well, we've assumed that the population growth will continue the same as previous years, where we just have a straight line. Question number 22. The diagram shows a cylinder with radius 15 centimeters and height 20 centimeters. For part A, on the grid below, we have to draw the plan view of the cylinder. Use the scale 1 centimeter represents 5 centimeters. So if 1 centimeter represents 5 centimeters, that means 15 centimeters will be drawn, and the circle from the top, because we are drawing a plan view, so that means we are looking at this directly downwards. We will draw a circle with radius 3 centimeters, as we see here. Now, part B, on the grid below, we have to draw the front elevation of the cylinder with the same scale. When we look at it from the front, what we'll see is a rectangle, and the dimensions of the rectangle will be 20 centimeters times by 30 centimeters. But using the scale, 30 divided by 5 is 6, and 20 divided by 5 is 4. So what we need to do is draw a rectangle with dimensions 6 by 4 centimeters, as we see here. Question number 23. A student says that they have placed the following values in order, starting with the smallest: a tenth squared, square root of 0.25, and 4 to the minus 1. Has the student done this correctly? Show how you decide. Well, what we can do is write all of these numbers as decimals. So we have 1/10 squared, which is the same as 1 over 100, which is equal to 0.01. Then we have the square root of 0.25, which is 0.5. And then we've got 4 to the power of minus 1, which is the same as 1 over 4, which is the same as 0.25. So are these in the order of size with the smallest first? Well, no, because the square root of 0.25 is bigger than 4 to the power of minus 1. So no, the order should be a tenth all squared, 4 to the minus 1, and then the square root of 0.25. Question number 24. Alex has a bag containing 3 blue beads and 5 green beads. There are no other beads in the bag. Alex takes a bead at random from the bag and puts it back, and then takes another bead. Alex says the probability that the 2 beads are the same colour is less than 50%. Is Alex correct? You must show how you decide. So the way we can approach this is to draw our values on the tree diagram. We've got 3/5 are blue and 5/8 which are green. So we've got 2 options here. We could either have blue or green. So we've got blue, green, blue, green. Now what we are looking for is the beads being the same colour. So we've got 3/8 which are blue, which means 5/8 are green. So we've got 3/8 which are blue, 5/8 which are green. As we see here. So we've got blue and blue, then we've got green, and then green. So the probability that they're the same colour, we've got 3/8 times by 3/8 plus 5/8 times by 5/8. So if we work this out, we have 3 times by 3, which is 9. And then we've got 5 times by 5, which is 25. And all of this is over 64, which is the 8 times 8. So what we end up with is 34 over 64. Now, what I know is half of the 64 is 32. This is 50%. And the value I've got is greater than 50%. So he's saying it's less than 50%. Is he correct? No, because it's actually more than 50%. Question number 25. The diagram shows a right angled triangle and a rectangle. The triangle and the rectangle have the same area. We have to calculate the length of D of this diagonal of the rectangle. First thing we can do is find the area of the triangle. So we've got 4 times by 24, and if we work out what this is, we've got 2 times by 24, which is 48 centimeters squared. So therefore, we've got 8 times by some height h, which is 48, which means h is equal to 6. So we've got h, which is 6 centimeters. And therefore, if we use Pythagoras, we've got 8 squared plus 6 squared equals d squared, which means d squared is 100, meaning d is equal to 10.